Doing great work the right way makes for a successful business. We were just talking about it. We're going to share some of our insights. This will be fun. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody. Cardinal Cowboy, Carter Rethwish, the Your Little Castle show. I really enjoy what I get to do because we get to highlight those leaders in the community doing good work. But having the discussion that we had here today so far, half-hour discussion, this is kind of neat. Uncle, nephew, together working on projects, doing things the right way, and building that community that we're all in need of. That unity we all have to contribute and make a little difference on our planet. So thanks you guys for joining us. If you missed that first show, everybody, lots of great information in there. We just recorded it. It'll air here not too long on ABC. You can watch all of our shows afterwards on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, Your Little Castle. Go to yourlittlecastle.com, click the link, and you can see 600 shows or so we've got now out there, something like that. But my little brainchild a few years ago to really give people a spotlight that deserve it. With that, we just started talking to Jimmy about question number 8. I'm very systematized, right? There it is, question. What's the one mistake? Jimmy talked about that mistake where people, they don't know quite what's going on behind the walls. Noah, tell us what you think. What is the biggest mistake you see consumers make when they're deciding to have a home project?
Yes. I would say one of the biggest mistakes that I see with consumers is they likely don't do too much research on the company that they're trying to hire. And like my uncle was telling me earlier, they are too eager to pay somebody and provide, they give too much money. A good contractor is only going to request about 1/3 of the total job cost for down payment to start the job. And so it gives contracting a bad name, contractors a bad name whenever there's other contractors requesting more and then something falls through on the job where they're not able to finish the job and stuff like that. So I would say definitely do your research on the job that you're wanting and know that good things, not always, but if you're looking for good quality work, you're more than likely going to pay higher costs. We do our best in our business to try to keep our wages and our costs as competitive as possible, but just to annotate on that, just to highlight that if you're looking for good work, it's probably going to cost good money.
Yeah, well, that's what I say. How often they would say almost there must be something wrong here if there's not. There's technology things and whimsical things in the computers and all those. Sometimes that works out that way. But when you're talking about hardware, here's a literal refrigerator or a countertop.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
The fixed costs are pretty much the same.
Right.
Where are they cutting corners at?
Right.
And it'd be in those labor or in those things that they don't quite finish the right way. You
Right.
mentioned in the first show, often there were people that you saw that they didn't even finish that. I can show you a place in my house if we ever get down to it. I'll show you. It's 20 years old. Behind the door in my first floor bathroom, they just didn't finish the painting. I'm like, there's no paint. What's going on here? These are the little things that.
Out of sight, out of mind. Huh?
Yeah, it was behind the door. It was behind the door that you open the door. It's a small, it's a bathroom, so it's a small room. And then when you open the door, it's behind the door. But when you close the door and you happen to sit on the toilet, which I do periodically, as we all, but you look over and you're like, what's going on here? Hey, all right. So those are the things you want to avert, and you're wondering where they're cutting corners because they got a quota, they got a number, they got a
Right.
But when you have a smaller business owner like yourself, pays closer attention to those kinds of things. I bet those things are far less likely with the work you guys do.
Yeah, we try to keep things as tight as we can. We're not out trying to get greedy. We're not trying to just get rich off of one job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to just be fair with people.
Well, and the point I like to make along with that is I think about why another reason I love doing the show is because it's so true that and I love the big companies. I buy stuff for them periodically and do what I got to do and get the things that I need. But ultimately, when I'm dealing with a small business owner, I love working with small business owners more readily because I'm going to talk to the owner.
Right.
I'm going to talk to the owner's nephew, right?
Right.
I'm going to talk to
Right.
people that I have direct access to. So if there's an issue, there's a question, there's a problem, I can get an answer immediately, or
Right.
with one phone call without the whole call support, and the
Right.
support passes you up to the manager passes up to the vice president. Vice president says, "Yeah, I'll pass it on to the CEO. Good luck. We'll get back to you in a couple months." Not what they have to deal with
Right.
working with somebody like yourself.
No, we're always reachable.
It's a lot more personal.
Yeah, it's a lot more personable. Like usually, I don't know, a lot of customers, like I said, it's all we've been just word of mouth for all these years, actually, just other than T-shirts and maybe on the sign on the vehicle. But other than that, we stay busy just by referrals and word of mouth. And many customers, we end up being friends. I've got several customers when they just need anything done, just a picture hung. Could you just please come by and hang a picture? So of course, I'll just go by, I'll hang it, just to do it, because we've become friends over the years. So many people call back that we get familiar enough to where we're like family almost. It's kind of crazy like that, but that's a lot. That happens a lot.
That's what you talk about, integrity and reputation and all those things that go along with that, because ultimately it all boils down to something I've studied. I don't know if you guys have, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and at the very bottom of that is the safety, security, a place to live, and then food, but ultimately it boils down to trust.
Right.
Do you trust somebody? And if you do not trust them, then you're not going to do business with them.
Right.
If you do trust them, then you will call them at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday and say, will you hang a
Right, and it has happened. It has happened.
and that's when you've got good relationships and a good.
Right.
No, is that impactful for you? Is that you see this the way your uncle runs the business? And
Oh yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. Like it's a lot more personal. You get to know the customers in a lot more intimate manner, and like you said, like you essentially just become friends with them after a certain amount of time. Like even if it's just one job, if it's any length of job, they're going to get a lot of face time with the customer, and they're going to get to know you as a person, and you're going to get to know them. And because we are a small business, like you said, you are always having the owner present. He's always getting material. So they may not see him as much.
who does Jimmy call to get the material? He gets his own truck and goes and gets it himself.
Right.
Maybe Noah will help you with the materials.
Yeah,
He helps me unload it. I'll
too.
load it. He helps unload it.
But yeah, I definitely agree. It's a lot more personal, and it's a lot more fulfilling that way, I think.
There you go, and that's what we're really talking about when it gets down to why do you exist on this little planet? Not just to make a bunch of money, because that doesn't make you happy.
Right.
But to feel like you've contributed. I'll go on a little quick tangent here, if you don't mind. But I'm studying all the time, and I just talked to Noah, I think, and so I said, oh, cool, I got like 30 minutes to take a break here. But I can't just take a break. So I get in front of my computer, and there's a video by Patrick Bet-David that says, by the way, y'all are freaked out about this AI stuff? Guess what YouTube just did? If you have a completely 100% generated AI video, it will not be allowed to be monetized. I had to study it for a minute. And it was interesting. I talked to a friend of mine, and she's familiar with this space too. And she's like, "Yeah, now as long as you've contributed some effort, you've done a voiceover for it. There's been some pictures that were actually physical, but just completely AI generated. Because there's people that have been telling me, Carter, you'll be out of business in a few years because all of the interviews will be 100% AI. They still know whether or not that person actually sat in the chair and was a real person, and you will know that because we're still all going to exist. I think we're not going to be up in the cloud. They ultimately will live in the cloud. But I mean, that for foreseeable future, that's still, we want to know who we're dealing with, what it is that's going on.
Right. Some kind of personal, just a personal touch.
Human touch.
Right.
There you go. That's why I bring guys like Jimmy and explain what we're talking about. Make it simple for me, Jimmy. That was a 7-minute rant. He summarized it in 8 seconds. but literally, that's what it's about.
Right.
And that's what we want to exude and portray for our clients that are going to see what we're talking about and get the work done that you guys are providing that expertise with. All right, well, tell me that. Commercial, residential, a little bit of both. What would you say you specialize in? How much do you do of each? And
I would say 90% of it is residential. Okay. We do have, I have a business partner that we do warehouses together with, so we have been getting a little more into commercial, but primarily residential.
Okay.
So.
And does Noah, you help with those projects too, I guess?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So the business partner he has, like you said, is a lot more commercial stuff, so we've been working with him on some projects. There's been some warehouses, there's been a government building, there's been a couple other restaurants and stuff where we've done snow plowing. We're contracted with them through the winter and stuff like that. But I definitely prefer the residential. I like having the one-on-one with the client and being able to create something in that home, something that they're going to appreciate and enjoy.
And that's what we like to see also. I've done plenty of commercial work. I've done lots of residential work. I deal mostly with small businesses is my caveat. And, it's just and I like that for the same reason. You get to really get to know the people.
Right.
You get to see on the grassroots, we have heard of the joke. I'm the guy who does the video, I do the editing, I do the production, and I also clean the toilet.
Yeah, true.
So you literally are
From top to bottom, literally.
doing everything it takes to get that done, which is good also because then you know everything that is involved if there's a problem.
Right.
Another funny one. This guy called me. He says, "So and so said that they should be paid whatever and whatever." And I said, and the guy was a lawyer, and he goes, "And why shouldn't you pay whatever?" And I'm like, "Well, it doesn't take that long." Then he goes, "Well, how do you know?" I go, "Because I've done it."
Right.
And I was a particular person that was trying to say that they did work and it took them an hour, and I knew it took 10 minutes.
Right.
And I'm like, that's not how it works. So that's another benefit of being the expert who's done the work. You know what it takes to get it done.
Right.
And so you know those materials.
There's always some unseen things that something or you might forget something or you got but yeah, it's
Like you said, you never know what's behind the wall.
right.
You never know what's behind the wall, everybody. Sometimes we built the wall too, everybody. The TV walls.
He knows.
There's two of them.
He knows
Lots
what's
of wires
behind the wall.
behind the wall. But because I built these walls, I
know what's back there,
What's
right.
back there and what wire might be at stake that was causing the problem. If one of our lights up here flashing, there's 7 of them. I'm like, is that, it's not flashing now. I warmed up. Okay, whatever. But it's an LED. I know how to replace it. I know how to put it in there. Good illustration there for everybody to understand. Thank you.
Right.
People need to know that stuff. All right, as we get in here, we're almost halfway through the show already. Tell me what it is that you enjoy about what you do. What is it makes you feel good about what you do? And tell me a time when you helped a client in particular. If you have bring up an old war story about somebody you know who was struggling, maybe they had a bid or did part of the work and then they couldn't finish the job. I can only imagine in 40 years you've got.
Yeah, that's hard to nail down to one. But it has happened. We go over and above just to satisfy a customer. You know, like I said, there's a lot of stuff we don't charge for it. And looking back, like, boy, we really should have charged for that, but it needed to be done. And like I said, if their money's tight or something, it's just like something we can work around it. You know, we don't try to make it a habit but it does happen.
No, you've got to stay in business.
Yeah, exactly. We have bills too, but like I said, there's some things that just happen that people just aren't expecting, and it's like, can you work with me on this price? You know, we'll drop prices, we'll negotiate. Sometimes we'll do it for free, but we always try to work with the customer.
At least it was part of a bigger project.
Right. Yeah. If we're there, you know,
you could do a veneer finish versus the marble finish.
Right.
You know,
right.
Is that the case? The marble's quite a bit more expensive, but it still looks pretty good with the.
Right.
What kind of countertops are there often?
Granite, onyx, corian, veneer, wood, butcher block. Once again, you can go and go.
Okay. And those are things because you've got a background, you understand all of the different variables, so you can make
Right.
adjustments on the fly.
Right.
And help you.
Because each one of those there's a cost difference in each one. You know, so it's what we're going to get something that looks like marble that could save you some money. You know, like a corian or something. It looks like a marble, but it's or onyx, you know, or something like that. But to try to get you still what you want at your price range.
Stay in that budget.
Right.
You know, how often do you see that? I mean, you're dealing with this too, and you're in the foreman out there going, all right, they've got this request. I got to tell Unc, we're not going to do it that way. We got to do it. We're not cutting corners. We're going to give them something that's very high quality, but just as expensive.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. That actually happened just a couple weeks ago. We haven't actually gotten started with the job, but what was it? I think last year or a couple years ago, we redid some stairs for the front deck on this lady's porch, and it was all done in cedar. And I don't know how much you know about construction, but cedar is very expensive wood, very expensive lumber.
Yeah, I know. When you're building decks, I know that's especially.
Yeah, right, exactly. So she wants to, not only did we do the stairs, which is about 5 steps, and so we did the stairs for her last year. Now she wants to put the redeck, and so new deck boards on her entire deck, and it's a 10 by 20 deck. So I mean, it's a pretty good sized deck.
That's 20 foot on a deck is pretty big.
Yeah. Yes.
The 10 part, not so. That's about average, but 20,
Right.
Right.
Across the ways.
And so with just like that, like it's one of those things. Like, okay, this is what you want, and we know this is what you want. I just want you to know that at the same time that this does have a price tag attached, but we can get you something similar that is gonna look just as good, or maybe close to just as good, but it'll cost you a whole lot less.
Yeah, and that's when you get into your treated versus not treated, and then
Right.
you've got the
Composite.
composite. That's
Yeah.
what
Right.
And that's what we just did, a composite deck. She was wanting all cedar. I'm like, well, you're really going to be spending some money on this. I said, but we can get something that's going to last for years and years and years, and look just as good. And and that's what we ended up doing. We went with the composite over cedar, and it really turned out beautiful. She's very happy.
Well, there we go. All right, everybody, we're going to go do a little video here of some community stuff we did. We're going to play a fun interview we did outside of Busch Stadium here with some of the fun fans that we see down at Busch. Check this out. More fun Cardinal fans, everybody. Ben and Max. Ben, how long have you been a Cardinal fan?
I mean, I lived here my whole life. Cardinals are just the way in my blood. I can't deny it. That's how it goes.
What is your best pickup line when you meet a girl regarding the Cardinals? Hey, baby, want to go to a Cardinal game?
Yeah, that's about it. I mean, I'm not smooth with the ladies, but yeah, hey, baby, Cardinals are in
We're
town.
helping. Well, Ben and Max. You're Ben, right? No, you're Max.
That's Max.
Max, how often do you come back after a Cardinal game? Man, there was a lot of fun there to be had. What was the most fun you had at the Cardinal game? And it can't involve anything up until including things we can't talk about.
Well, when I was a kid, came here, I was sitting out in center field, hanging out in the yard, and caught a home run ball. I mean, you can't really beat that,
Barehanded?
No, I had a glove.
He had a glove.
Yeah.
Way to go. So
I was ready.
he's resourceful and athletic, everybody. Ben and Max, thanks you guys. Let's go. Can I get a let's go Cardinals?
Let's go
Let's
Cards.
go Cardinals, baby.
We're going to do it together now. Ready?
All right.
1, 2, 3. Let's go
go
Cardinals.
Cardinals.
Giddy up.
His name is Carter Rethwich, but in St. Louis, he's known as the Cardinal Cowboy. He's a well-known fixture in the stands at sporting events in the Gateway City. He's one of its greatest cheerleaders, a super fan like no other. When he makes his rounds at almost every home game, he shares his love for sports with the rest of fandom with a smile, a cheer, some positive encouragement, and lots of selfies and pics. But the Cardinal Cowboy was born of a tragic incident. Rethwich was an aspiring athlete in high school and college. He dreamed of playing in the big leagues, but those dreams ended when he and 3 of his college friends were hit with a devastating crash by a 5-time drunk driver. One of his best friends died. Carter suffered a critical head injury. The trauma put him in a coma for 6 days. The doctors said he was never expected to function again. Those expectations never came true. He fought back and finished college. He was determined to prove the doctors wrong. Among other inspirations, it was his love of baseball that kept him going. And from his near-death experience, the Cardinal Cowboy emerged. His goal in life became to inspire others with positivity despite the odds, to help people believe in themselves and achieve their dreams.
So after my coma, I realized that it was up to me if I was going to accomplish my goals, if I was going to reach my dreams. Despite what the naysayers would say, the people that were discouraging me, like they do everyone, it's up to me if I'm going to make it. Don't listen to the naysayers. It's up to you. You decide whether you're going to succeed, whether you're going to reach your goals. Dream, and then always, always chase your dreams. Never give up. Giddy up. Hey everybody, Cardinal Cowboy here. I want to invite all of you to be part of my new team. No, you don't have to put on a baseball uniform and be a super fan. Now, it would be a good idea to cheer for the Cardinals, the greatest team in the history of the National League. But I'm talking about the Gold Cowboy team. You know, I love to help people follow their dreams and reach their goals in business and in life. So that's one of the reasons why I'm telling you about my friends at My Metal Pro. They help people like you and I acquire gold and silver with a membership that lets you safely buy, sell, and store gold and silver. They make it real easy to get started. My Metal Pro isn't like the big guys you see on network TV or the big coin shops that take a huge commission. So become part of my Gold Cowboy team. Scan the QR code or go to goldcowboy.com and check it out. Giddy up! Well, there you have it, everybody. Lots of fun stuff we get to do in the community, and shout out to our sponsors. And Curtis, I'll throw him up on the screen right here. Here it is. My buddy, who's been doing this for a long time. I'm finally like, Curtis, gold. I mean, come on. I got mutual funds. I'm like, holy cow, gold beats the performance of mutual funds, and that's Curtis right there, right away. Of the S&P, and even the best mutual funds. American funds, my buddy would bragged about for years. You got to get American funds. He's an investor. I trust him, love him like a brother. Todd, how you doing? But this beats all that. Oh my gosh, historically, not always, not guaranteed. I'm not an investment professional. I'm just telling you what I've learned the hard way a couple of times. So take advantage of that. With that, technology is at stake here, and that's how we run our businesses. That's how we become successful. Pick up this book, everybody. Talking about some of the leaders in our community, leaders on our little planet. Two guys here that have been on my show, Steve Kidd and Willie J. You've seen a number of times. Willie J's a top artist in the country. He's got hundreds of thousands, millions of views by now on his stuff. But they asked me to write the foreword here. I ended up writing the first chapter. They said, Carter, you wrote the first chapter. You're supposed to write 300 to 500 words. You wrote 1,800. I said, well, you essentially wrote the first chapter, but it sets up the book. And they literally give you steps and diagrams, not just a bunch of text. And there is me as the, but it will help you to understand how you can magnetize your media. And they just had me on the other day. I said, Cowboy, I said, I'm at the Cardinal game, but I can make it happen. I got out one phone, I got out the other, and I did Zoom from one while talking to the other and one to the ear. And we're promoting Willie's, did a song all about beating breast cancer. And so check that out. Willie J doing good stuff. But with that, media, technology, how has it impacted and changed your guys' world? Who wants to tackle that one? I think
I'll let Noah have that
Noah
one.
talk about that. Tell me about it, Noah.
So with technology and media, we just now are getting started with the Facebook page and stuff like that. But one way that I've seen it help others and companies and stuff is just it helps you get the word out there so easily. And you can push it on so many different platforms and so many different directions, and you can do it almost as aggressively as you want with the paid advertisements and stuff that Instagram and Facebook offer to you and stuff. But not only is that the only thing, like just the ease of access to call the company or call the boss or call another foreman or somebody that's out, and just the ease of access for the communication, and then also with taking pictures of the work that you do so you can put that on stuff like Facebook and Instagram, as well as with the tools that we use, because all of it's technology, and every year they're coming out with a brand new tool to make something just a little bit easier. And if it makes it just a little bit easier, it just makes it that much work.
Time is money. If it
Time
makes
is-
it faster, you
exactly.
can do twice as much work. Isn't that very
Right.
valuable to you and the consumer at the end of the day? But yeah, I appreciate that. And you talked about that. And what we're trying to help people understand is that organically, like when people just find you, you need to have something out there compelling that explains it to them. And you can make these videos. It's just a one-time deal to have something very high quality that looks good that can, and then you do the advertising, and it all works
Right.
together. And you can really promote your business. And I coach people about that all the day long. But these guys have got it on the ball right here. Great looking website with a marketing automation system built into it. I know because I helped them with it. And their Facebook page now with all the images, and they can really just share organically for free. One of the best ways to communicate what you're doing. But you got to put the stuff out there because you guys
Right.
do such good work, and you're gonna have lots of people I think appreciate what you've done.
Thank you.
Very cool. The process, obviously, then it's the process just got updated. For how do you start with you guys? Got a great looking website, and that website is Eubank, EUBANK and SON.com. I don't know who helped you pick that domain, but they must be just genius. but
That's some really swell guy.
well, go to the website. I'm going to put up on the wall for everybody to see. The website's not completed, but it is pretty well in shape there. But you can see behind us. But take a look here, and when you see, like I said, when you got people doing good work, you got to share that kind of stuff. So here it is, just a little bit of an example of some of the work that they put together, and then the information that talks about what they do and some of the stuff that they've done, specific projects. And as you continue down that page, and lots of information there. But what's the easiest way for somebody to get started with you? They say, Jimmy, no, I want to hire you guys. What? Call you, text you, email you, all that kind of stuff.
All the above, and we will get back with you, and then we'll come out. We'll walk through.
What is the process after that then?
Well, they call us, and we'll come out and to see what their plans are, what their ideas are, and let's see. We'll just walk through and see if we can do it. Which there's not much we can't do.
If you dream
Right.
it, we can build it. There it is.
Yes, we can. And so, and then we'll get some prices together for them, and then we'll contact them, let them know, hey, this is what's going to be. Let us know if that works for you or not. And if it works, then we'll take care of the contract and just sign the papers and get started on it for them.
Wow, that's just I just feel I get this feeling from you. I just somebody that's just straight shooter to the point. We're going to make it work more than anything. It's not always about the money. It's about, can I get this done? And I feel like it's a good, because the materials are kind of common. Like, it's not like this guy gets his materials for half the price of that guy,
Right, yeah.
Right.
It's really a matter of, do you trust the guys they're going to use the right materials? They're not going to try to find some way to trick me into making bigger decisions to spend more money.
Yeah, getting older material or something that's been sitting around for discount price. No, we don't do that.
That's another trick of the trade.
Yeah, I've seen it done. I've seen it done.
Wow, okay, give me those because they're about to go off the market.
Right, yeah.
They've been sitting around.
We'll take those old stack back there by the fence that's been sitting there for a year.
Those ones are just a little bit.
Right.
Gotcha. Well, nothing to be
Oh,
wary
goodness.
of, but awesome stuff to be wary of. Tell me though, as somebody's been in business as long as you have, is there? We all have challenges we have to go through in life, and especially in business. I can tell you about millions that I've gone through since I started my own little endeavor here 5 years ago. Again, ramping up again after working for myself for a number of years prior. What's one of the biggest challenges you've overcome as a business owner? Sticking to it.
Yeah. So, going through some, sometimes they're slow, sometimes they're good. It's feast or famine a lot of times with contractors. It really is, and it's trying to make it through those famine times, to do it right, to move forward and stay on top or put your head above water. Let's put it that way, kind of.
And that's why I know the integrity is so important. You've developed a reputation. You've got 39 years of experience. You've got people constantly referring to you. That's what keeps the business going. Have you seen that with working with your uncle? Obviously, people say we can trust these guys. We know what we're doing.
Yes, absolutely. Like you said, work does eventually slow down, especially as we all know, our website just got put up, and so our name's not as prevalent as a lot of other companies that are within the area. And so we're not as easy to find, and a lot of our work is done for word of mouth. So if we're not getting those active referrals, and if we're not actively on jobs or moving around through the city, then our name isn't getting put out there as much. They're not seeing us. But every once in a while, you'll just get a call from a repeat customer. Hey, we got something else that we want you guys on. Or hey, we got a friend and we like the way that you did our work, and we told them about you. Here's the number, give them a call.
That's how you do it, everybody. You want to have that good reputation that leads to more business and can establish and keep somebody the longevity you've had with 39 years. I'm looking at you, Jimmy, and I'm like, you can't be a day over 50, but I'm guessing you might be. You didn't start the business when you were 10.
Right. No, I'll be 59 in October.
59.
Yeah.
And still in good shape. You look young, man. Keep up the good.
I appreciate that.
You do things right. Your stress levels are less. You can tell the people who've been through stressful situations.
Right.
I don't think it was any fault of their own. But obviously, you run a business for so long, and you're in control of your own destiny.
Exactly.
It helps maybe relieve a little bit. You know who you're counting on, right?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
And Noah there to help you. Noah, how long have you guys been working together now?
Altogether, shoot, I would say about 3.5 years. It's actually pretty young still, officially.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, I'm saying
He's always
family
worked
for a long time.
I've only been paying him for 3.5 years.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Stay tuned for more. Giddy up.